Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. The last we spoke, I was disgusted with this baseball team, and I looked at them and stated, I need to see something in Atlanta. I have to see something better on this road trip. Now, let's be real here. The Atlanta Braves suck today. They have catchers playing outfield. I mean, it was a mess on the defensive display. You thought the Phillies were going to be bad this year. And realistically, they probably are going to be, even though they haven't been the worst I've ever seen so far to this point of the year. And I thought it probably would be the worst I've ever seen at this point of the season. But seriously, I mean, whether it was Bryce Harper's hit that was a pop-up that dropped, or JT Realmuto's triple that knocked in Kyle Schwarber from first base that went into left field, or Roman Quinn who hits a deep shot to center field, there's miscommunication going on there. Here's what I do believe is very valid, though. When a squad blows up the way that the Braves did tonight defensively, make them pay. Because when the game first started, you had first and second, 0 outs. Bryce moves them along, so you have second and third, 1 out. You do not score. And then the Braves, early on, they get a grade A scoring chance. Roman Quinn, of all people, from center field with a cannon, with an absolute hose, with a gunshot slinging it around, going to home plate like that. What a beauty. And I'll say this about Roman Quinn. I'll take it, all right? I don't believe in him, but I'll take it. The perfect example of what Roman Quinn is to me is Furkan Korkmaz when he had those couple of games and he had that one stretch a year ago or so where everybody believed in the hype of what he's capable of doing. And I said, no, it's nonsense. But I would take those regular season efforts for what it is. That's where I'm at with Roman Quinn. But you're seeing a little bit of spark, if you will, from him. And, I think Rhys Hoskins coming up large with the bases loaded, full count. Bang! He puts the squad on the board by erasing all of those base runners, and it's 3-0 Phils. Kyle Schwarber walked 3 times. Gene Segura, Alec Boehm with a couple of hits. So Zack Wheeler dominated while Davidson was terrible. Even some of the pen for the Braves made you shake your head at times if you're watching this with an Atlanta Braves fan base viewpoint, of course. But yeah, I mean, I look at this as the Braves sucked so bad. They were terrible. You'd have to imagine that they bounce back and look a little bit better tomorrow. And I get it. It's difficult when Zack Wheeler's doing Zack Wheeler things. He ran out of gas towards the end there, but wow, when he got locked and loaded, he was sensational. And I had a couple questions entering the year. Not only was there the problem of him starting late in the way that he went about his approach for this upcoming season, right? So not only was there that, but he ate up so many damn innings last year. And I wasn't doubting if he could do it again. I wasn't debating if he could duplicate it because there was a fear that he wouldn't be able to. But I just questioned if that would come back to bite him, just knowing that when he was in New York, there were injury histories that limited what he was capable of doing. And he put in so much damn work, and that was the most electric we've seen out of Zack Wheeler. Can he do it again? It wasn't that I doubted if he could, but I thought maybe there would be some sort of snowball effect from how much he did throw last season. But now that he's in the rhythm, holy hell, there were a few strikeouts that I loved, a couple to Ronald Acuna Jr., and one specifically to Olsen on the inside part of the plate. He was fooling hitters left and right, and I mean, I love it when you see high 90s, 98. You want it? Okay, come get it. 97. You want it? All right, let me challenge you. Let me see if you can touch that. Oh, what's that? You can't? Sit your ass down. Go walk back to the dugout, you loser. Right? I mean, Zack Wheeler is so much fun to watch. And this is why I get into the debate a little bit about Aaron Nola. Because while Aaron Nola has been way better than we probably all would have expected, with your number 2 in your rotation, right now, he's doing more than keeping you in games. I'm talking about Aaron Nola, so I'm not trying to be too harsh. But I guess what I'm trying to say is when Zack Wheeler's on the mound, you expect to win. You expect him to win you baseball games, right? Go out there, dominate, roll through that lineup, get to 100-plus pitches, get us into that 7th inning, go on Zack Wheeler cruise control, and make sure that the Phillies leave with a W. Aaron Nola, more or less, he does more than just keep you involved this year. And I know the win-loss record is out of whack, but I don't have that same tone. And I feel like your 1 and 2 should have that same type of delivery, which is go win us a baseball game. Wheeler wins you baseball games. Just to put it in perspective, I don't want to rip apart Nola. I'm seriously very excited for what he's done to this point. Even though his last outing, he did have a typical Aaron Nola blow up, and you talk about the 2 strikes, and that's problematic. I just want to lay it out so you can see the difference, and I feel that with the starting rotation, your 1 and 2 should be able to have this type of pop. And Zack Wheeler's NL Cy Young worthy, and he might be right there at the top again this year. Let's hope he doesn't get snubbed. So the bar is set very high when I'm comparing somebody to the Phillies' number 1 in Zack Wheeler. But I just want to put that on notice on kind of what more I expect from an Aaron Nola when you see how Zack Wheeler is. And you know, it's a phenomenal watch for sure. 0 walks, 10 strikeouts. Him and Zach Eflin the last couple of days, I've been in beauty mode and in awe watching these 2 guys throw and confusing hitters all throughout the lineup. Really incredible for sure. Once you got to the bullpen, did I get scared? Maybe when Familia slips and the ball goes past Rhys Hoskins. Here's everyone running towards the mic. Oh, not again. Why? Why does it always happen with this baseball team where something bizarre happens? You're up big. You're up 7-1. Why is this going on? But they get out of that. Connor Brogdon, he got settled down a bit and came up with a large strikeout when needed. I've liked what I've seen out of Connor Brogdon in these last couple of outings, and then Knebel in the 9th. It would be nice to not have to warm up Knebel, right? It would be nice to not have to go to him late and just win a damn baseball game 7-1. This was somewhat of a recliner game, and what I mean by that is I felt comfortable throughout. Familia always scares me, but I felt comfortable. It would be nicer, though, for 7-1, 7-0, something where we don't even have to see a glimpse of Knebel warming up in the pen, and he can kick it. I saw all sorts of 8th inning should go to Sir Anthony all the damn time. Talk about availability, though. I don't hate that mindset in a general sense, though. When Sir Anthony is available, that 8th inning goes to Sir Anthony Dominguez. He's the guy. Go to him. I get circumstances dictate that, and it can't happen every 8th, but just from a broad sense here, let's study what we can do to clear up these late game scenarios. I have a sense, though, that knowing Joe Girardi, we'll see guys that we don't necessarily love some nights, and we'll be confused and we'll be baffled, but that's just part of the Joe Girardi experience. And for everybody who wants him canned, Dave Dombrowski spoke, and when he talked about a manager, he said, I have faith in this guy. You know, it's not about assessing the manager right now. He's our manager. He's paid to manage. What we need to do is play better offensively. And he's a little stunned and in disbelief that they're where they're at right now currently with their offense, where they get shut out or they only score 1 run. Why isn't it as sexy as advertised? And they're doing things right that they would expect as more games are played, that it all works out. Okay, we'll find out. Is Rhys Hoskins going to be the leadoff guy all year long? Like I've been saying for a little bit of time now, it might be your best bet. I know Schwarber walked a few times today. That tickles everyone's fancy. But Rhys Hoskins had the big bases clearing double. And he also had he had a walk in there as well. So he ended up getting on base twice. It's not as much of a disaster as everybody discusses it. Bryce Harper, yeah, it kind of stinks a little bit that since coming back, it hasn't been the sharpest Bryce Harper, and that's what you would expect to happen when you take so much time off. So he was red hot. He was boiling. He was getting into that Bryce Harper, I'm taking over games. Bryce Harper, let me go and let me shine and let me show the world why I am the NL MVP and why I could do it back to back, damn it. That was the type of vibe that we were getting from Bryce Harper. And then when you have to get the shot, and then, of course, they say that the shot involves pain, and he took so many days off, you would expect for him to have to find that comfortability again and get back into, what that Bryce Harper mode was like. So we're just waiting. I thought maybe that little single in the fourth where he got a bit lucky would spark something for a couple other at-bats after that, but a lot of ground outs today. He had a strikeout as well. But, yeah, Castellanos 0 for 5. He's now down to 256 hitting. That did drop rather quickly. The last I remember, it was 290-something. It was 280. With a blink of an eye, you're looking at a Nick Castellanos who's hitting 256. But, I'm not worried about him. In his last couple of games here, I'm just kind of looking at the game logs maybe, even though I can tell you what it's going to tell me. It hasn't been very good. That's why his numbers are dropping. So I don't know why I need to look at a bunch of box score numbers that say 0 hits next to his name to tell me anything. I understand how mathematics works, so I guess that's somewhat irrelevant as a whole. How about Camargo? How about that slide by Camargo at home plate, huh? A little shifty there. A little different with the hands to slide in there at the plate. I'll take this because it is outstanding to win a baseball game and make it 2 in a row. It did drag on a bit, though. No. 7:20 start. I remember looking at the TV screen saying it's only the 4th inning. Excuse me, how is it only the 4th inning? I feel like I've been watching this game for 17 hours. So it started to drag on a bit. You start looking around. The Celtics are destroying the Miami Heat. You start going in another direction. You see that Claude Giroux and the Florida Panthers get swept by the Lightning, and the pain and suffering that I'm witnessing and experiencing right now as a Claude Girouxman. It's not going to be an easy night of sleep. I'll probably be watching a ton of highlights from back in the day with him against the Penguins. I'll be going through my feels thinking about that. But, you kind of scroll around a little bit and you move on to tomorrow and see if you can do this again. The Braves haven't really been off to last year they won the World Series and kind of had this type of start as well. But, they just haven't been great to start this season. So take advantage of that. Sometimes it's about when you see teams. If you see the Atlanta Braves 5 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, instead of this series, and obviously they're in your division, so you're going to see them, and this already feels late as it is. But you understand my point where, let's say 2 weeks from now or 1 week from now is when you would have saw the Braves for the first time, and they're playing electric, and they're winning 6 in a row. Compared to where they're at right now, well, all right, you see the Braves. You know how disgustingly hard this schedule has been. You're seeing all sorts of numbers getting thrown around the Twitter sphere. How many times the Phillies have played the Dodgers and the Mets to make up such a large portion of their schedule? And those are two teams that are obviously very high respected right now. Keep yourself involved, beat the teams you're supposed to, and create your own momentum. When you are sitting in an opportunity and you're sitting in a chance to do that, don't let it slip. Will you let it slip? You better not. We've seen over the years, whether it was the series against the Diamondbacks, if you remember how gut-wrenching that Diamondback series was. Miami, over and over and over. You'll never see the Miami Marlins. You want to throw up because you're getting anxious. Your anxiety goes through the roof. Let's make this different. I needed to see a big-time effort from the Dodger series, and I despised that Dodger series. I'm a little annoyed that this happens away from home, and their home ballpark is where they feel out of whack and out of sorts. At some point, that has to change. But for right now, let's keep this thing rolling. Let's keep this thing grooving. JT, 2 hits, 1 RBI, 1 walk. All right, JT, please, 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 please utilize this little fun spurt that you had tonight and let it have a domino effect. Please, we need you. We desperately need you. I figured he'd be in the lineup today, and knowing that with Davidson, you're going to plug in a righty and thinking about a Stubbs, even though I knew it would never happen, on letting JT Realmuto breathe, sit down, relax. You're overcomplicating. You're lost. I figured he'd be in the lineup today, and he did all right. And I don't know if this is going to mean anything for tomorrow, but clearly that's highlighted, and I have my binoculars set there. I will take some phone calls if you are interested at 856-442-9805. I will open up the phone lines right now to get your thoughts on this game. Before we do, though, let me tell you about Freestone Farm CBD. It's my favorite CBD brand because they farm it themselves with all organic inputs, and they offer only the highest quality genetics in their strains. I've tried a lot of different brands, but honestly, Freestone Farm CBD has been amazing for me, and I personally like using it after working out to help with the regular post-workout feel, and before bed, I've been sleeping so much better at night. What's even more exciting, our friends at Freestone Farm CBD just unveiled an all-new strain menu with some awesome CBD at really reasonable prices. How about this? 24.1% CBD. Oh, they're premium hemp flower is grown on their Garden State farm with all organic inputs and IPM. Use code BROADS for 20% off at checkout at FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Their link is down below in the description. 856-442-9805. We do have a couple open lines if you are interested. I'll look at the chat here and see kind of what the feeling is out there. And Hoskins coming up huge is discussed. No doubt about it. You know, I know that Rhys Hoskins is irritating, and there's times where he goes 0 for 4 and, you know, he gets pitches that he probably should do more with, and he doesn't execute in that moment. He's a frustrating guy, and he's always the one that gets referenced whenever someone wants to make a trade or someone wants to make a move. I had those feelings in the past. Now, though, I have more faith in Rhys Hoskins than maybe some do. He's been around long enough, right? Don't you feel at this point when you say, he stinks, he's bad, he's that? You've seen enough out of him. He doesn't stink. He's not pathetic. He's not awful. He's not terrible. He's not trash. He's streaky, which is a lot of MLB hitters. But when he gets going, it's a scary sight. He hasn't been into a deep routine of crushing balls yet. I do think it will happen, but, you know, Rhys is still valuable. He still brings more good things to this team than he does bad things. There's times at first base where we scratch our head, and realistically, too, just to go back to this, with JT Realmuto playing first base on Sunday, and the ball going through his legs, oh, man, he just seems like he's carrying it when it does go south for him on the field, too. Which is one thing we give a lot of respect for with Alec Boehm, which is he was never taking those flaws defensively when he's in the batter's box. He could basically separate the two, which is what you have to do. But going over to Rhys is, yeah, I get it. Head scratching. But I don't get the wild level of bashing, because at this point, if you're still fighting what he is or what he isn't, or if you're still holding debates with your buddies or your group chat on what Rhys Hoskins is, I mean, you're being fooled. He's been here long enough. He's been playing Major League Baseball long enough. You should know. Hot streaks, cold streaks, a lot of bombs, a lot of strikeouts. Sometimes we get mad because he's only looking for walks. I mean, we know this Rhys Hoskins. But I also know that this Rhys Hoskins is going to give us a run at some point. So just breathe about it. All right, we'll take our first call here and go to Amadeo. What's happening, Amadeo?
Honestly, I'm with you. It kind of did feel like this game dragged on a little bit. I don't know why. It just kind of felt like that.
Yeah, well, probably because they had a big lead at one point, and once they had that big monstrous lead and you start seeing where it's trending with Zack Wheeler dominating, it's almost as if, okay, get me to the finish line. So that's why it felt the way that it did.
Exactly. When Familia comes out there, my hairs start to stick up. I'm like, oh, God, please, no, just don't do this right now. I don't have the patience for this. Please, Familia, just get out of the job. But overall, he took advantage of a lot of mistakes by the Braves. Honestly, I do look to Kyle Schwarber, though, with those 3 walks. I thought those were, honestly, a lot. I feel like a lot of people don't care for walks, but a lot of those walks, specifically, I think some of those were with 2 outs. They started those rallies. So Kyle Schwarber had a lot of really good at-bats today, honestly, to start, basically providing, the rest of the offense, basically spiraling through those walks, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think that is definitely something to notice, and someone who I've been criticizing heavily and reasonably so. But Roman Quinn had one as well in there where he kept off of it. It was an inside pitch. It was super close, and he decided to not swing at it, and he walked, and he earned himself a big one there too. So he had a big play in center field, obviously, with the cannon. He had the big walk in there too, and of course what happened in that deep center field or so, but that should have been caught if the Braves were actually communicating and speaking out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. At this point, you just take advantage and you take what you take, and you take those any day of the week. They don't ask how you do it. They basically just ask how many you get.
Damn right, and they need more, and this is a good start, though. It's a good start to the road trip. You got some tough ones and some division rivals and teams that you despise, so it should be high emotional. It should be intense, and you got to show me something. You got to show me attitude. You got to show me edge. It's funny. Joe Girardi definitely had a different sense of body language to him today. He was a little more upbeat. And another thing, too, listening to Zack Wheeler speak after the game, and he got a little music going in the clubhouse. Maybe sounded like they were playing a little ping pong. It was, one kiss is all it takes, falling in love with me. I'm like, all right, Zack. Is Zack the type of guy to get the fellas going in the clubhouse with a little dancing as he's getting ready? Someone's got to do that, right? Every clubhouse has that guy. Who's that guy? I could see Roman Quinn doing the worm after a big-time W. What else? Definitely not Aaron Nola. Who could be the goofball of the crowd? I could see Gene Segura doing some shoulder shimmies in there. Maybe Nick Castellanos looking goofy, just doing the dad moves. Maybe some sprinklers. I could see him doing the sprinkler or the shopping cart, right where he's got. I could see him doing the lawnmower. That's the type of style I think we get out of Nick Castellanos. I'm trying to think though. Who's the goofball? Stubbs? Oh, come on. Stubbs grabs his shirt and he puts it in between his crotch, and he does one of those, right? That's the Stubbs move. He's the guy that gets the fellas going. He probably dances all throughout. I know from experience some of those moves I've had to do in the past during the victory song, of course. But, hey, no one cares about my athletic prime at all. At all. So, that's kind of where we're at. Okay, now we got people mentioning that Jose Alvarado's the one twerking. Now, I didn't need that. All right, Andrew? I didn't need you to chime in with that in the chat. That's not what people want to be thinking about. Really? Had that image stuck in my head? We need better images. How about Ronald Acuna Jr. Getting fastballs running down the middle of the pipe that he can't even do anything with? How about Olsen getting fooled on the inside part of the plate? Let's stick with those thoughts because they're beautiful. We'll see what they do tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. If you are looking to buy tickets for any event out there, utilize the promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout page for $20 off of your purchase. So that eliminates your fees. If you are a first-time user of SeatGeek, free parking. You can look at that as free beer when you get into the ballpark or things of that nature. Promo code BROADS. And then lastly, social media for Broads Media, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter as well. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will catch you guys all on the next one.